a Friday episode of Donno Daily. We are broadcasting live here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network, 5 Reasons YouTube. Hello to everyone joining live. Namaste. I feel like I should say it like that when I hit my hands together. Namaste and welcome in to 5R Live. Make sure you utilize the live chat, my friends. We're going to be talking so much Miami Dolphins, so much Miami Heat. We're going to be giving out betting picks for the weekend. So make sure you hop into that live chat. And guys, make sure you smash the like button and you subscribe to our YouTube channel here. And I see the way the subscriber count has been going up day after day after day. We recently eclipsed 13,000, and we couldn't do this without you guys. Thank you so much for spreading the word about 5 Reasons Sports. We're loaded today. Before we get into just how loaded we are, let me remind you guys, we are proudly sponsored by BetUS.com, the official sports book of Donno Daily. I love these guys. Bet with the 3-decade leader, BetUS. Join now for a 125% sign-up bonus or 200% if you use crypto for your first deposit. Use our promo code when you sign up, 5RSN125. 5RSN125. You type that in, that gets you 125% sign-up bonus, free play money. It is so freaking awesome. You can bet sports. They have a great casino in there. You can play table games, slots, horses, pop culture, NFL, of course, starting very soon. BetUS.com. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS. We are also served by the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. Oh my God, I love their food, guys. The freshest seafood like oysters, Maine lobster, the sushi is right out of the ocean. I love their buffalo shrimp. They offer 2-for-1 happy hour on cocktails all day, every day. Make the Quarterdeck your spot to watch every UFC pay-per-view fight with zero cover charge. If you want to peep their menu and find the location nearest to you, visit them on the web at quarterdeckrestaurants.com and then thank me later. Make sure you try the Italian beef sandwich, by the way. That is my new favorite item on the menu. The Quarterdeck, come for the food, stay for the fun. So at 12:10 today, we are going to talk about all the magic that has been Miami Heat NBA Summer League so far. The amazing exploits of Max Strus, the Turk Nowitzki himself, Omer Yurtseven. We're going to be joined live, my friends, in less than 10 minutes by a man who's actually out in Las Vegas taking in the action in person. Michael Christian from Clutch Corner here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network is going to join us at 12:10 today to talk about the Miami Heat's offseason, to talk about Summer League. I want to get his perspective on the good, the very good, and the not so good, right? The good, Max Strus, Omer Yurtseven. The not so good, KZ Okpala, who I think stinks. I dare him to prove me wrong, but unfortunately, I don't think this guy really has a future with the Miami Heat, perhaps not a meaningful future in the NBA. So we have a lot of business to get down to with Michael Christian. Guys, it is a Foodie Friday today. So between a couple of our guests today, I'm going to flash up some photos of some pretty funky ballpark foods and ask you guys if you'd eat it or if you wouldn't eat it. And some of these, even for a guy like me who gets very hungry and I love to eat crazy things, I've got to draw the line on some of these, my friends. Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com is going to join us at 12:30. He's going to give us some winners for the weekend. So if you guys, of course, if you sign up at BetUS.com, you're going to have some winners to play tonight and tomorrow. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. At 12:45 today, we're going to talk to our main man at Samurai Radio himself. Chien Chisholm is going to hop aboard, talk some Miami Dolphins preseason and some Miami Dolphins training camp. I feel like a kid on Christmas Eve, knowing that we actually get to watch preseason football tomorrow. The Miami Dolphins will take the field Saturday afternoon, 1 p.m. I know sometimes these Saturday preseason games, they play night games. Not tomorrow. Just be advised, it is an afternoon game, 1 p.m., Miami Dolphins, Chicago Bears. It's going to be extra interesting because the Dolphins and Bears had 2 days of pretty heated joint practices against one another. I love joint practices. The Dolphins are actually going to do it again next week with the Atlanta Falcons. It gives you such a better measuring stick to be able to go after players that don't wear your jersey, to give you different looks, to get a little bit physical. So I'm really looking forward to Dolphins Bears tomorrow. Want to go over some of the objectives, all right? If I can put my Chris Greer hat on And if I can put my Dolphin fan hat on as well, what I'm looking to see and what I'm looking for the Dolphins to accomplish tomorrow, because I'm not going to pretend this is week 17 of a playoff chase or anything like that. It's the first preseason game. So one thing we couldn't give a rat's ass about is the final score. Who cares, okay? But my objectives going into tomorrow, first and foremost, and this always has to be the number one objective in any preseason game, is the good Lord, if he will allow us, get through it injury-free. First objective is always no injuries. That's the worst thing possible, is to see a guy go down with anything significant in the preseason. It's terrible. Second objective, and this is a little bit more specific to the Miami Dolphins, okay? The offensive line. They need to show me something tomorrow. And that goes for both sides of the football in the trenches, by the way, but especially on the offensive line. I actually liked something about them this week, okay? They struggled on Wednesday in the first joint practice against the Bears. And going up against guys like Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn, you're going to struggle at times. That's a great test. That's a great measuring stick. So they struggled a lot Wednesday, day one. They were much better in Thursday's day two session. So that shows me this unit is capable of adjusting and adapting. I'm very happy about that. I will, especially tomorrow afternoon, I should say. I catch myself there. Going to be watching Austin Jackson at left tackle, because I'm expecting him to take a very big leap in year two, because year one for Austin Jackson had a tumultuous offseason heading into his rookie year, which included, donating bone marrow to a relative, I think his sister, which takes a lot out of you. So I'm really looking forward to. Oh, and by the way, welcome in Dondrell Richardson, who says it's first time here, joining in on the live chat. Welcome to you. We're happy to have you aboard. So Austin Jackson at left tackle, I want to see what he does tomorrow. And Michael Dieter at center, because that's been a very interesting experiment for him. He's been holding down that starting center spot, so I'm looking forward to that, okay? Third objective for tomorrow, Dolphins-Bears. Playmakers. I want to see some plays made. Now, as far as starters go, we're going to get a look, okay? Brian Flores did say that he wants to get his starters, Tua Tagovailoa included, out on the field for some work. Does that mean expect one series, maybe two series? Probably not anything more than that, but we're going to get a look at some starters. Let's make some plays tomorrow, my friends. Javon Holland, rookie safety. This guy has been bossing it in practices and joint practices so far this season. I would love nothing more than seeing the steal of the draft, Javon Holland, getting an interception tomorrow night. I would love that. I don't care if it's Justin Fields or Andy Dalton. He's intercepted both of them, by the way, in joint practices. I want to see my man, Mr. Holland, take home an INT tomorrow, I should say. Jalen Waddle, he's been looking good in practice over the last few sessions. So let's get at least, again, one series, two series, I'm not sure, but I would love to see two connections between Tua and Jalen Waddle, a big gain, give him a chance to use his speed. That would be a lot of fun. And yeah, Tua, I want to see Tua make a little magic, right? Even if he's only out there from one series, two series. Because if Tua doesn't do well tomorrow, you know what I'm going to be dreading? If Tua plays one series, throws an interception. If Tua plays one series, it's 3 and out with a couple of incompletions. Then on Monday, I've got to listen to Cowherd, and I've got to listen to Mike Greenberg and Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman talk about how Tua is going to be a bust. I don't need that negativity in my life, my friends. For however long Tua is on the field tomorrow, show me a couple of good throws. Show me you can sense pressure and elude pressure, because the Bears can bring that to him. So, yeah, these are the things I am looking for tomorrow in preseason game number 1 between the Miami Dolphins and Chicago Bears, okay? So those are my primary objectives. These comments I was reading this morning, and by the way, we're a moment away from bringing in Michael Christian from Clutch Corner to talk a little Heat. So Jimmy Johnson was on the Dan Le Batard show, and he admitted that back in 1998, when he was coaching the Miami Dolphins, and he was in charge of the draft room as well, he was, picking the players and coaching the players, he had an opportunity to trade for one of the top 5 greatest quarterbacks of all time, Peyton Manning. The year Peyton was drafted, Jimmy admitted to Dan Le Batard, he said, it would have taken my entire draft board, but I could have made a trade to move up to get Peyton Manning. In truth, I talked to Peyton, he said, and Archie about it this weekend, he said. That's all the details I can give you. I probably gave you too much already. Something interesting about that is, like, Jimmy, and he's going into the Hall of Fame. He's about even to go into the Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor finally. So this is a big summer for Jimmy, right? Hall of Fame, Cowboys Ring of Honor. So he's basically giving you kind of the tell-all book. Jimmy, I don't know if that's something you should be flexing. Like, I don't know if you should be bragging about the opportunity you had, 23 years ago while you were with the Dolphins, draft one of the best quarterbacks of all time. That just gives me, as a Dolphins fan, another thing to be miserable about. I was miserable enough with the multiple what ifs we had with Drew Brees. Could have drafted Brees, could have signed Brees, never got Brees, haven't won a Super Bowl in my lifetime. I already had enough of a what if with that quarterback. Now you're giving me a what if that back in 1998 you had the opportunity to trade your entire draft board for Peyton freaking Manning and you didn't do it. Jimmy, I don't know if that's something you should be bragging about, man. You might have wanted to take that secret to the grave with you, okay? All right. Let's go live to Vegas. Let's talk a little Miami Heat basketball and a little Miami Heat Summer League. So thrilled to be joined here by Victor Oladipo's number one fan. And I'm a big fan of this man, Michael Christian, who's out there covering the Heat Summer League in Vegas. Now, Michael, I know this is a business trip for you, but like, how hard do you go in Vegas? Because for me, I have left my soul in Las Vegas a couple of times. There's a reason why they refer to it as Lost Wages, Nevada. Like, how big do you do Vegas, sir?
Man, okay, you see, and I feel like people are going to get on me for this, especially right now. I'm trying to do Vegas not hard at all. Just with everything going on, like even when I was walking outside yesterday, like I was walking out on the strip because I wanted to walk over to see like the fountains and everything. I still had my mask on even though it was way too hot.
Good for
There's
you.
just enough people that I'm like, you know what? I want to come back alive. I'm vaccinated, but I just, you know what? I just want to make sure that I'm safe. So I'm trying to take this one a little easy. I'm spending a decent amount of time in my room, but today I'm going to be spending the whole day at Summer League. And my goal is to get a picture with Wade, UD, Duncan Robinson, Bam, if he's still here. That's the goal.
See, I think, and I totally respect what you're saying, by the way, because it's a dangerous world we live in right now with this Delta variant. But I'm such a degenerate. I think what I would do is I would try and find one of those casinos that nobody goes to. Because if you walk around like every hotel in Vegas, like, obviously you've got the big ones, the MGM Grands and the Paris and Caesars and, Bellagio, all the ones where the casinos get jam packed. I'd stay away from those. But I would walk like maybe just off the strip, like over to like the Hooters Hotel or something where there's probably 3 people in the entire casino.
Hotel.
Dude, like I'm telling you, I would find a way. And again, respecting the fact that you're a careful guy, as we all should be. You're wearing your mask. You don't want to take home any germs. That's fine. I guarantee you can find somewhere a socially distanced casino. So that is your homework assignment for however long you're out there.
I'll find it just so you can take your trip up here and lose all the wages you've earned.
Oh my God. Oh man. By the way, Michael is getting trash talked in the chat by our guy Kai, who's Kai's gonna be joining. Like he's out there talking his nonsense. He's gonna be joining us later in the show today. So I would expect Michael to log back in and maybe trash talk Kai a little bit.
I wish you the best of luck with him because he does nothing to take people off tangent, right? Like the host has some great transitions ready to go, and he's just like, oh, and here's this thing from 10 minutes ago we talked about. So with Kai, look, best of luck, bro.
I can already tell you what's going to happen because I know Kai. I'm going to bring him on to talk Dolphins, and we're going to end up somehow talking Bayern and Bundesliga. Like I guarantee you something like that is going to happen.
Premier League is all that matters, and I hope Kai hears that.
All right, so I do want to get into Summer League with you. So I did hear you on 5R last night as well. So I'm going to try to keep it more upbeat, like than Ethan. Like he's asking you basically to bash KZ Okpala. He's taking it to all these negative spots. I want to start with the positive, Michael, because I have been watching individuals like Turk Nowitzki, also known as Omer Yurtseven, just putting up these gigantic numbers and looking so comfortable out there. And a guy that I've been bullish on going back to last year in Max Strus, who absolutely dominated against the Grizz the other day, and he hits the game winner in the sudden death double overtime. talk to me about those players, Michael, and where could you see them fitting in potentially into the Heat rotation next year?
That's something that we talked about last night, and that's something that I think the negative side of things that Ethan was trying to bring out might also turn to be a slight positive. I think this team is talented enough at the top end to win games early on in the season before they get someone like Victor Oladipo back, right? Before they get some other players that are really contributing at a high level. And so with Max Strus and Omer, they have to contribute pretty early on. They're going to be a part of the rotation because there's not that much depth there. And with Max Strus, what's exciting is he's aggressive as hell, man. Like, I remember watching him last season, the couple games he came in, it didn't matter what the score was or if he just came off the bench. The moment he touched the ball, he was looking to shoot because that was his job. He knew his job and he was trying to do it well. He's getting better at that. And something that you want to see from Max, especially, right? Because Omer, you want to see him do well, but you know, Omer's still developing. He's still new to this. So you just want to see him make the right decisions. With Max, you want to see him dominate a little bit. You want to see him take over and show, I'm a veteran in this league, right? I know what I'm doing. And he's been doing that so far. And that Grizzlies game was incredibly impressive. Without him, the Heat from the three-point line were something like 3 for 22. But he alone carried the team from the three-point line because he shot 7 for 17. He was on the entire time. And that lineup, which was amazing defensively with Garrett, Jarreau, and KZ Okpala, all good defenders. When Max Strus was on the offensive side for them, he was the only one working, and he's the only reason why they won that game. Because without him offensively, they had no identity, and it was amazing to watch him take off.
By the way, comment of the day from Alf. I would give COVID a disease if I was in Vegas right now. You know, the last time I was in Vegas was shortly before the pandemic. I might have been patient zero because I lived so large out there the last time I was out there. So I'm right there. I'm right there with Alfredo on that. I should probably stay far away from Vegas until we can finally put this pandemic behind us. So yeah, you know, beyond Strus and Omer, who else has stood out to you? Because like there's been really some good stuff from Garrett. Like who else have you liked out there in Summer League so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say Garrett's been my favorite player so far in Summer League. I love what Omer's done, right? He's done great. In California, he absolutely lit it up and kind of forced the Heat's hand into giving him the contract that they did. Max Strus has been playing well, but Marcus Garrett just looks so ready to be on this team. His defense is exactly what the Heat are looking for. The tenacity is there. And what I love about being at Summer League is those little things that you can kind of hear and watch that you may not get through the TV, right? So Marcus Garrett spent the entire time playing amazing defense on Desmond Bane, who was a former 30th overall pick back in 2020, right? Good player, probably the strongest player in the NBA. I mean, that dude could bench the both of us combined. It's ridiculous. Garrett was playing such good defense on him. He started trash talking Caron Butler. So they started having a little back and forth. And at one point, after Bane got blocked on one end by Garrett, right, he falls to the ground. The Heat bring it over in transition on offense, but Bane is still on the ground over there. Caron Butler stands up, doesn't even yell anything towards the Heat offense, looks right over at Bane and says, hey, get your butt over here so we can talk some more. Come on, bring it down this way. Listen, between that, and I'm pretty sure Omer Yurtseven's father is at the games as well, because there was one guy in a yurt jersey, which I didn't even know they made those. One guy in a yurt jersey sitting a few rows behind us, and every time Omer committed a foul, he was yelling at the ref. Or if he dunked, he was the loudest guy in the entire gym. So I'm pretty sure his dad is here too. There's like these little like things that you can catch and watch that being at Summer League is an experience that I don't think you can recreate anywhere else. It's absolutely amazing.
Like how many people are actually in the gym watching? Like how many people do you think are in there? Like, you know, with media, personnel and all that?
Man, it's a lot. So let's say, so these games are at the Cox Pavilion. So it's at UNLV. You've got the Thomas and Mack Center, which is a larger arena, more arena size. And then you got the Cox Pavilion, which is a much smaller court. In the Cox Pavilion, which is where I saw the Heat play, I would say there was maybe about, man, if I had to guess, maybe about 1,000 people in there.
Oh, okay. It's more than it seemed like on TV. But then again, like you know, I'm mostly just watching for the yurt highlights, so I might have missed some of the nuances.
Yeah, there's about 1,000 people in there, and then it's cool because you have one side is the benches. They cover the 3 rows, and then they let fans sit behind that. Media is on the edges, right, of all the benches. And then on the other side of the court, they have the first 3 rows blocked off for if stars or team people want to sit there. And so I looked across from me, and I'm seeing Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson from Memphis as well. Like all these stars just sitting there in the front row and people are just walking by them. Like everything's chill, right? After the game, I was able to catch up with Karan Butler and I told him, hey, love the trash talk out there. And he's like, you know how it is. And he dacked me up real quick. It's like this really personal thing that you can get here at Summer League. It's absolutely phenomenal. And I like the games at the Cox Pavilion a little better because everything's so much closer. So you're a lot closer to everyone else. I mean, even Eric Reed and John Crotty were sitting up in the top row. Dude, it was the best.
Had you covered Summer League or is this your first experience?
This is actually my first experience at Summer League ever, and I think it's definitely making me want to come back. So already I'm looking into coming next year, and next year, you know, Alana and I have already started talking about coming next year and doing it from a Feel the Heat perspective, right? Like doing some podcasts out here after the games, trying to get interviews with other people. So my goal is to talk to UD about the Miami Dolphins because he was wearing a Merino shirt the other day. So I want to ask him what he thinks about Tua and all this stuff because people have asked him enough about the contract. Let's talk to him about South Florida, right? He loves the Dolphins. Let's see what he has to say about that.
I love the fact that we had the biggest South Florida sports legend wearing the shirt of the second biggest South Florida sports legend, and UD wearing the Merino. And I would love now the challenge would be I would love to see Merino at a Dolphins preseason game wearing a UD jersey. So I want to see the real, recognized real. And let me ask you, since you brought up UD, do you see any downside to bringing UD back? Because this is something that it divides Heat Twitter, and I think people get very unreasonable about it. I basically worship Udonis Haslem. If he wants to have a lifetime contract and be on the end of the bench when he's Pat Riley's age, I would be okay with that. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I think if UD wants to be back on the team, he has a right to be back on the team. And I understand a lot of people's arguments where, well, you can find a 15th player that you want to develop, right? Like maybe there's one more player that you wanted to get off of Summer League that you wanted to put at the end of the bench, right? And a lot of people worried maybe they can't get Turk, right? Maybe they can't get Turk Nowitzki because they go, this team is going to find a way to get the players they want, and they're going to find a way to make it fit, and they're going to find a way to do that with Udonis Haslem. Udonis Haslem has to be here. He is a Heat lifer. Right, you've let other Heat lifers walk. Right, Dwayne Wade went away for a little bit. LeBron, obviously not a Heat lifer, but Chris Bosh, unfortunately, what happened to him? Goran Dragic moved on as well. Justice Winslow and Josh Richardson, who all of us were very high on and seemed to fit the mold of the Heat player so perfectly, also moved on. You need some sort of carryover for like the emphasis that this team brings. Udonis Haslem is that guy. And if you listen to the Long Shot podcast with Duncan Robinson, which is a great listen, by the way,
it is.
He had Udonis Haslem on, and they talked about what Udonis Haslem kind of does on the bench, right? That veteran presence, telling the guys, be ready to sacrifice because it's the hardest thing to do, but it's the most important thing to do. And who else is going to tell them that, right? Like Jimmy can tell them that, but it's different coming from a guy who's been in the league for basically 20 years, who's seen everything under the sun. So I think that veteran presence, that leadership, you have to keep him on no matter what. And so to me, signing Udonis was an absolute no-brainer. People that don't like it, I understand their points, but Udonis has to be here if he wants to. Until the day he says, I'm out the door, he's got a key. And not even under the bat, literally in the door, just waiting for him to turn it.
All right, last thing, because I cannot let you go without asking you about Oladipo. Any idea what the timetable is? Because if you ask me the timetable on Oladipo being healthy, I would say 21:45 would be probably the timetable. But when do you think the Heat should expect him back? And theoretically, if he can come back healthy, how much of a difference can he make in this rotation?
So I think the timeline is very, very tricky with him, right? We've heard some people mention November. We've heard other people mention January. Other people even mention maybe as late as February or March. Ooh. It's all over the place. My guess is that he comes back sometime in late January, early February, but that is an absolute guess. That's not with insider knowledge or anything like that. What Victor Oladipo does for this team, though, is he unlocks so much from an attacking perspective. Kyle Lowry being on this team is going to be able to do that as well, but Victor Oladipo can also do that, and he can do that for our second unit. And defensively, look, I don't know if you remember one of the first games or one of the only games Victor Oladipo played. It was the Heat versus the Warriors. And the Warriors at that time were hitting on all cylinders because Stephen Curry was hitting from everywhere. And I remember they were just switching, right, between him and Ariza and Jimmy and Bam. Duncan was the only other one on the court whose defense might have been questionable. They were switching like crazy, and the Warriors couldn't do anything with the ball. Victor Oladipo's defense, which is always going to be there, puts his team to another level. And if his offense is even just a fraction of what it can be, right? If he's at 35-40% of his normal offense, his attacking the rim, his playmaking, and his shot making are going to be so much that they're going to put this team over the top. It's going to open it up for Tyler and Max Strus, who he's probably going to be playing alongside. So I think Victor Oladipo is incredibly important for this team's long-term playoff hopes. For the regular season, I don't think they'll need him as much, but if they're looking at Eastern Conference Finals and Finals, Victor Oladipo, in my opinion, is a guy that really helps unlock that.
I love it. Excellent stuff as always. You guys want to make sure you follow Michael at Michael5RSN. He's going to give you all the great scoops on Summer League. And I've enjoyed it. I mean, I was saying the same thing to Greg Sylvander yesterday. This is the most invested I have ever been in Heat Summer League. And a big reason for it is so much enthusiasm from people like Michael here, who's out there covering it. You know, people like Greg and Alex Toledo and Ethan, that I'm more invested in Summer League than I ever have been before. So enjoy that, sir. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Appreciate it, Donno.
Love it. Awesome stuff there from Michael Christian. In about 5 minutes, we're going to bring in Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com to get some betting tips for the weekend. Lee, by the way, told me he likes a lot of NFL preseason games this weekend. And I was just saying yesterday, bros, you can find betting value in preseason. Just because the final scores may not matter, it doesn't mean there aren't props and certain things you can get an edge on. So we're going to talk with Lee Sterling shortly. And a huge thanks again to Michael Christian for joining us. In the meantime, my friends, it is a Foodie Friday. And Foodie Friday is brought to you by the great folks here at U Break Wheel Fix. Mark and his wheel and refinishing techs have over 20 years of experience. They are dedicated to providing high-quality repairs for cracked, bent, or damaged rims and wheels. They get the job done quickly, and they get the job done right with a quality guarantee. They've got 5 stars on Yelp and Google. And look at it there from their Instagram, guys. This is my favorite thing. Not only will they fix and repair your wheels, but they will pimp out your wheels. You want to rep the Miami Dolphins like you see there on that photo, which looks so badass. You want to rep the Miami Heat. You want to rep Inter Miami because the pink and black looks really fresh on those wheels. And of course, my Miami Hurricanes, orange and green. U Break Wheel Fix can get that done with you. I think that's beautiful. So whether you need to fix your bent or cracked wheels, or you want to get them tricked out in your team colors, or both, of course, you can count on U Break Wheel Fix, 1861 Northeast 146th Street in Miami. And that's the full product there, by the way, you see on that photo, that fins up Jeep, which is awesome. Visit them on the web at ubreakwheelfix.com. Huge shout out to everyone joining in on the chat, by the way. And Hussam was asking if he missed Kai. You did not miss Kai. Kai's coming on at 12:45. Andy Cornell he lives in Scotland, but he must be on business in Mexico City. Hello to you. Hussam is in there. Alex was talking about that Duncan interview with UD. I've got to watch that. My guy, Cap for Life, is in. Hello, Cap. We've seen Alf in there, Samurai Radio, who is Chien Chisholm, who's joining us later. So hello to everyone in the chat. So in the spirit of Foodie Friday, let me run a couple of foods by you guys here. We have photos for those watching live. Would you eat these? Okay, some of these are ballpark foods. Some of these like this. You're looking at this. I did not know this existed, guys. McDonald's used to offer spaghetti, the mixed spaghetti. So I'm looking at here a photo of what's like a slight step up maybe from Chef Boyardee, McDonald's spaghetti, and I think there's meatballs in there as well. You can't see them photographed. I was reading about this today, guys. So they had these in the United States in the 70s. They had mixed spaghetti. It only exists now in the Philippines, but they still have it in the Philippines. Guys, you could not pay me to eat McDonald's spaghetti. And it's no offense, but for someone like of Italian heritage like myself, if I'm going to go to McDonald's, I'm going to get myself a quarter pounder with cheese. I'm going to get myself a Big Mac, a McChicken, McNuggets. There's no way I'm eating the mixed spaghetti at McDonald's. I want to vomit just looking at that mixed spaghetti. Would you eat that or would you not? I love the reactions here. David is saying, this is like Burger King having hot dogs. Do you remember? I'm sure David remembers this as well. Do you remember when Burger King had tacos for like a couple of months? And I saw some real photos of them, and they were putrid. All right, let's pull up the next one, Manny. This was actually sent to me. It was tweeted out by Mr. Smith. The tweet was actually sent to me by my friend Tito Banach. What you're looking at is a calamari pizza. Now, the actual slice doesn't look very good, so I don't think it does it any favors. The calamari doesn't look good either. So I'm not eating that one. Like that pie, No way, bro. I'm not eating that. Now, if you have a good pizza with good calamari, I'm still thinking fried calamari on a pizza. That's really rich for a slice. That's a little too much for me. I will happily eat some calamari as an appetizer for a pizza. But I don't know. There's something about calamari on pizza. It looks like we get a good verdict here from Alex Bayer says yum. So maybe he's into that. Alfredo notified me, by the way, that McDonald's got rid of the spaghetti back in the 80s, but you can still get it in the Philippines, bro. If you go over to the Philippines, you can still get the mixed spaghetti over there. So I'm gonna say a hard no on the calamari pizza, and even harder no on the mixed spaghetti. Let's get into a couple of ballpark food items. Carrie Steele, she's a great follow for ballpark food. What you're looking at, guys, is an apple pie hot dog, which was created by Guy Fieri. And this was available at the Field of Dreams game, that the Yankees played against the White Sox at the Field of Dreams location in Iowa. If you went to that game, you could have gotten an apple pie hot dog. I just vomited into my mouth. Like, why do we have to do this? Why? 4th of July, give me a hot dog in a bun with some mustard. And then a few minutes later, after my stomach is settled, give me some apple pie for dessert. Why? Why are we putting a hot dog in apple pie? This is crazy. Heart attack is right, bro. All right, and we got two more for you before we bring in Lee Sterling. So how about, you know what? Actually, if Lee Sterling is there, pop him in because I can get his reaction on the last couple of these as well. Let's pop in Lee Sterling for Paramount Sports. Lee, what you're looking at right now is a mac and cheese, Philly cheesesteak, onion rings, and spicy aioli sandwich on garlic bread. Are you eating that, sir?
Not if I'm planning on even walking 50 yards afterwards. I'll try almost anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give it a go, but I'm more like you. That hot dog, like I said, have them separate. Have the hot dog and the apple pie separate. So two of my favorites, though.
Oh, man. And I'm looking at that. And you know what? Like, it actually doesn't look like the worst hot dog because I like my hot dogs kind of burnt. Like, I like them that way. But no, in the apple pie, it's not good. Like, I'll be honest. I would probably try the mac and cheese, Philly cheesesteak, onion rings, and spicy aioli on garlic. Like, I would try. I mean, but I couldn't guarantee you I take more than 2 bites because, like you said, I would need a stretcher the rest of the way. And Alex says heart attack, but worth it.
Well, that type of food, it kind of lays on your lungs for about 8 hours.
It does, and it's hard to walk afterwards. Final one I'm going to bring up, and then we'll get to some picks for the weekend from Lee Sterling. I had to bring this one up just to get Manny Chang angry. This is one of my favorites, the Nutella Pizza. Now, the funny thing, Lee, this is one of my favorite desserts. You can get these at some like Italian joints. They'll have. See, Manny is already writing in Nutella sucks. Manny, you're dead wrong about that, sir. But Nutella Pizza to me is a great dessert item. Apparently, Lee, they don't do these so often in Italy because months ago I tweeted out a photo of a Nutella pizza and some of my Italian friends were like freaking out because they didn't understand that there's no tomato sauce and no cheese under. Like they thought somebody poured Nutella on top of like, a pizza with mozzarella. So no, as a dessert item, and there's it's not salty at all. It's the Nutella on the bread done in the oven. Chef's kiss. It's one of my favorite things, man.
I try it. I give it a shot. But when I'm in Italy, I have cannoli after cannoli after cannoli, and then the sorbet. I would walk in and I would say, "Oh, I had some great, some great. What do they call? What's the ice cream they call in Italy?
Oh, gelato.
Yeah, gelato. I said I had some great gelato." In Florence. So like, no. Whatever the other city is, they're not up to par, and they're loading you up. Oh, you try this, you're gonna like this much better.
That is good. So we're so happy to bring in our friend Lee Sterling. His website is ParamountSports.com, and he's going to give us some great insight. And you guys know we now have an official sports book here of Donno Daily. So if you sign up at betus.com, you use our code 5RSN125, you get a 125% sign up bonus. I deposited last week $150 and then magically $187.50 of free play money appeared on top of my deposit. It's so beautiful. And Lee, you and I were talking before the show, and you brought up something was music to my ears. And of course, you can get Lee's picks at his website, ParamountSports.com. And I'll give Lee at the end an opportunity to let people know how to sign up and what they're offering. But Lee, we were talking before the show, and you mentioned to me there's a lot you like in NFL exhibitions that are coming up. And I always tell people you can find some edges in preseason, right? Just because starters aren't playing for a long time doesn't mean there's not something to bet. So what do you like this weekend?
Okay, first you got to know the rules, Alex. And I don't know if you know this, there's no ties in preseason football anymore.
That's right. Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that. So every half point and point's important. You see a lot of low-scoring games. You see 17-13, 20-17 games, 17-16. So getting the right number. For instance, last night, New England was a 2-point underdog the entire week.
Mm-hmm.
By early morning, it had switched around to pick 'em some places. And then by 4 or 5 in the afternoon, New England was a 2-point favorite. So when that touchdown and then it looked like the 2-point conversion was successful until it was overruled, there was a good chance if you could have played them early, New England, and won, and you could have played the other way and won. They could have been middle, the books, and which is scary. They don't like to have that done. They'll never do it on 3, but they went from +2 to -2, which is very unusual because there's not that much bet on preseason games.
Yeah.
So the last tie was 2013. There can't be a tie anymore. And you just got to scour. You got to scour newspapers. You got to listen to reporters, got to read what they write. You got to listen to even some coaches give it away. Now, Brian Flores isn't giving away anything.
No.
He won't tell you. But if you read between the lines, I think Tua is going to play a few series here, maybe a quarter.
I agree.
And Miami's got a lot of depth. They got their second stringers. Even their third stringers, like at receiver, are good. Good second string defensive line. Real good DBs. I think Justin Fields, even though I think he's going to be marvelous and I think he's going to be the starter, maybe after 3, 4, 5 weeks, I don't know if he's going to play so great against this defense. And how about this? Listen to some of these receivers here for the Chicago Bears. Daz Newsome. You ever heard of him?
I have, but that's only because I follow college pretty closely.
Okay. John Vay Johnson.
No.
Thomas Ives, Justin Wee, Javon Wims, Rodney Adams, Justin Hardy, Riley Ridley, I've heard of him, Demir Bird, and Chris Lacey. Those are the backups. And their starters are maybe the worst or second worst, and Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney, and also Marquise Goodwin.
Yeah, not
so
good.
How are those guys going to make plays? You don't see a lot of long drives in preseason. You know, there's all kinds of penalties over and over, illegal procedure, holding. So a lot of the scores are a DB trying to make a play on the ball, trying to make a name for himself, make an interception, a deflection. And even though the Bears starters are good, I don't think their backups are good. I think this is a bad line here. I like Miami. Plus, there's still some 3.5s out there. I like the Dolphins plus the points.
I love it. That is music in my ears. Anything else you like this weekend in preseason?
Yes. So there's a few others that I like.
Nice.
I like San Francisco, like the 49ers. 49ers are -2. We know that Mahomes isn't going to play. Hill's not going to play. And their backups aren't very good. And what we're hearing, we're getting reports out of San Francisco, and some of the reports are really good. I mean, Trey Lance, they think it's going to be a superstar. And I think he's going to play well the first week. I think he was under the radar. I liked him. I thought I had him, believe it or not, him ahead of Wilson, who the Jets took. So think about it. Wilson didn't beat anyone.
No.
His toughest competition last year was the team in South Carolina? Charleston? Was it not Charleston? The Chandeliers. The
Chanticleers. Yeah.
Chanticleers. And he didn't do well. I know they played on short notice, but he didn't look great. Not like he's playing even a good Division I defense. So San Francisco's got something to prove after not making the playoffs off the year before, being in the Super Bowl. Kansas City's just going through the motions here. I like San Francisco -2. Another game I like is Green Bay. It's still -3. I think it's going to go up to 3.5. I think people are underestimating Jordan Love. Their second and third stringers, most could start the Packers for the Texans. Texans are a horrible roster. And I think Jordan Love's got something to prove. I think he's going to play more than a half here. And I think they're getting him ready for next year. So lay the 3 at home. When are you ever going to see Green Bay -3 against the Texans? I know Rodgers isn't playing, but trust me, Love's pretty good. And they got some really good third and fourth string running backs. So they got depth. New system with the Texans also can be troublesome first game. Just getting plays in and assignments, playing live. So give me Green Bay. And there's one other game that I liked.
I love this, by the way, just like the sheer volume of NFL preseason action. Like, because admittedly, Lee, I have a hard time with this because I don't necessarily study the preseason as much as you do. I mean, this is your living studying these games. So I love this insight because, the last few days, by the way, even though there's not much going on, I've been having a hell of a time or a good time. I don't mean hell of a time like a bad time. I've been having a great time betting a lot more Major League Baseball than usual, and actually betting a lot of NBA Summer League, which has been a little hit or miss for me, but I've been doing all right on baseball, which is good.
Now are you going to give it all back because the Premier League starting in a couple hours?
I give more of it back, and I do bet some Premier League, believe me. I'm a huge junkie for the Italian Serie A. That's where my allegiances lie. And I didn't have a very good year last year on that. So, and Premier League neither. Actually, Lee, in soccer, where I do the best is because you get a lot of squash matches during international breaks when the national teams get together. Right. So every now and then you get these gigantic spreads, and I tend to do much better with the international game than the domestic game because there's a lot more parity in the domestic game.
Right. Yeah, I agree. The only other game that I like is I like Atlanta a little bit tonight, laying the 1.5 against Tennessee. Think Atlanta has something to prove. I'm hearing that the new coaching staff, things are going really well there. I think they've got something to prove, and Tennessee, I think they're going to rest a bunch of starters. That's probably the lightest of the 4 plays. So
that's good stuff there. Yeah, I love it. So a bit of a lighter play, but Atlanta -1.5 tonight. Green Bay -3 against the Texans. San Francisco -2 against KC, and the Dolphins plus the points tomorrow against the Chicago Bears. You might even be able to get 3.5 on that, which would be awesome. Are you feeling any withdrawals this week, Lee? Because this is one of those rare weekends with no UFC. We do have PFL tonight, and I think I like Rory McDonald against Ray Cooper, but no UFC this weekend, man.
I know, but I need the break. So there was an article put out. They had the top 10 misjudged matches. I had 8. I saw something 15, top 15. I had 12 of the 15 decisions. The other 3, I didn't even have anything involved in. So I've been robbed 12 times by someone who's unbiased, just happened to write an article. So I think they got to do something. Now, I know that Dana White does a lot of times. If he doesn't like the decision, he goes ahead and he says, okay, well, this guy got robbed. I'm going to give him a good fight. Yeah, he lost, and he deserved. So I like that aspect of it. But I mean, there was one fight, I forget who it was, last Saturday. I don't know if he won the fight, but he won the 3rd round. He like almost 2.5 to 1. You know the fight I'm talking about is on the main card.
Was it the Munoz Aldo fight?
No, it was, I think, the fight before. It might have been the fight before it or the fight after it.
No, I can't
so the last round, I mean, it was clearly, one fighter's way. And one judge had it 30-27 the other way. I mean, I'm like saying, if this isn't fixed, I don't know what is.
Jeez. Yeah, we've been robbed more than a few times. I remember the Miranda Maverick decision. Yeah. Oh, it was the Song Yadong fight.
Yeah.
That I was at the tip of my tongue. Yeah, the Song Yadong Casey Kenny fight was the one.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember a few weeks ago, we bet Miranda Maverick. We're completely robbed on that. But hey, we've been great times overall. Lee, let the people know, man. ParamountSports.com. What do you have running there? How can people sign up?
Great run. We're already 2-0 in preseason football.
Love
New England was a winner last night. It's nice to start off with a win because you don't have any pressure. You start off 0-2 and 0-3. You're like, God, am I seeing things wrong? So you're excited to get going. You're feeling it. So last year, number 1 in the country. You can look up my record. Go on my website under recent results. See every game I've had the last 5 years. I saw my picks at covers.com. I think there's 38, 39 handicappers. Number 1 combined college football and NFL winnings, money winnings. So I don't think anyone can touch what we're doing here. And baseball, 70, 48, and 1 the last 2 months. So we're making money there. So you want to hop on board, just go to ParamountSports.com, check out all the offerings, or give me a call, 800-400-9741.
Awesome stuff. Lee Sterling, thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend coming up.
You too. See you, Alex.
Awesome. So again, I like that. So he gave us 4 picks. Take the Dolphins tomorrow against Chicago, San Francisco against KC, all these against the spread, by the way, Green Bay against the Texans, and the Atlanta Falcons tonight, although that was not his heaviest play out of the 4. That was like a bonus pick. So really good stuff there. The moment I know many people in the chat have been waiting for, because we even got our friend who saw him when he logged in earlier about a half hour ago, was like freaking out because he thought he may have missed our next guest. You didn't miss it. We've got the great Chien Chisholm on with us, who I will anoint Kai as the number 1 Miami Dolphins training camp photographer. I've really enjoyed the shots that you have released, sir. Kai, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks. I appreciate that. Getting them the last day on Members Day on Sunday last week was fantastic. I enjoyed it a lot. Got some great pictures. I enjoyed it. I got like 1,022 or 1,033. I forget what it was, like a total. And my dad, who's a photographer, when I talked to him about that, he's like, "You should be taking 240 max." And I was like, "Oh,
wow."
Well, I guess I gotta take that down in general. But I mean, I got some great shots. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. And there you go. I love that. Manny is flashing some of Kai's shots.
Shout out, Manny. Yeah, I got one of Javon Holland. I don't know if it's up there, but I got one specifically of Javon Holland that I love. It was after he picked off Tua.
Oh, and except for the Tua part, yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it's this one right here. Nah, yeah, that one. Like when you zoom into it too, like you see his face and his expression. I don't know. I loved it. I enjoyed taking part of it. So thank you. I appreciate that. Hopefully next week when they're doing joint practices with the Falcons, I'll get some more stuff.
Do you like all these joint practices? By the way, I love it personally. I know that there are certain coaches in the NFL who don't want to take any risk, because I guess there's 2 things. Like it would increase your injury risk at least a little bit going up against opponents. And I don't know, maybe some coaches are worried, like we don't want to show any looks or anything to another team. We don't want that to have any edge. But personally, I love it, Kai, because how can you really measure yourselves when you're going up against your teammates? And not saying there isn't competition, because the defensive guys want to beat the offensive guys, but still, you're going up against the same people and you're learning their tendencies and their moves. Like I think mixing it up, joint practices, is awesome. And even like the Dolphins are doing 2 different teams this year, Bears and Falcons. Like I personally love it. What about you?
I think it's great. I mean, being able to see like you said, and especially I think one of the best things, that's my father in the chat, funny enough.
How about that?
One of the best things I think that we can have with these joint practices, and I think it's with our offensive line specifically. I mean, the whole topic last week during training camp, in those first, really in those first 10 days of training camp, was the offensive line was just getting absolutely bullied. Like they were just getting destroyed by our defensive line, and it was left and right. Didn't matter who it was. All of a sudden, Liam Eichenberg was playing guard after being at tackle all of OTA. So being able to see that, and I guess for all of us, we were thinking, okay, either
I don't know if
offensive line's horrible.
There we go.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, cool.
Sorry, I lost you for a second. And it's funny because whenever we're doing these things, I always freak out because I don't know if it's my internet or your internet or what. But all I know is we're good now.
My internet exploded like moments before we got on. Like it just stopped working. Yeah, blame Michael, please. But what I was saying is, like, I think a lot of us thought maybe our offensive line was horrible, and we saw a couple things coming out of the Bears practices that they didn't really do too great, and obviously that worries us for Tua, especially tomorrow with the limited snaps he will play, because Coach Flores did say that he will play. I think it's just great because then we also get to see our defensive line against some other offensive lines. Of course, the Bears' offensive line really isn't that great right now. They had released Charles Leno a while ago as well, so they don't really have him, and he was a starter for many, many years for them. I think it's just like getting to see them against other teams, and I think definitely in the trenches is what matters. And then, of course, like we get to see guys like Javon Holland who just continue to impress.
How worried are you in general about the offensive line? Because I see some folks freaking
Very.
out about it. Okay, and tell, because like for me, the reason why I have a little bit of optimism, Kai, is like I
They're young.
I know how right. I know how much youth is on that unit, and I'm expecting them. I'm expecting growth there, so I'm not completely freaking out. But I freak out a little bit because they're protecting precious cargo in Tua, and he has been injury prone at times in his college
Right.
and NFL career. So what concerns you about the O-line?
I just think the constant change. Well, one of the things too, remember they brought in Matt Skura, and I think unanimously everyone said with Matt Skura, this is a guy who can block very, very well. He's just had the yips. He's had snapping issues of recent, and he's not even the starter. You have a guy, Michael Dieter, who's been kind of a fringe roster guy who's been at guard for quite some time, got a couple snaps last season. Now he's starting at center. Austin Jackson looked pretty good last year before he, got injured, came back from the injury, didn't really look that great. Solomon Kinley was getting at least bullied. It seemed like he was kind of on third string, on second string. Then all of a sudden gets thrown into first string the other day. And even Omar Kelly mentioned that he was getting like a talking with Tua, kind of one of those kind of let's get it right before practice had even started. And then Jesse Davis, Robert Hunt. It seems like Jesse Davis is the offensive line that will never die, offensive lineman at least. Kind of like Sam Young was there for a while. And it was like, okay, this is the one guy that no matter what, he's just going to stay for some reason. I mean, they're young. I think the thing that concerns me is just like they are so young. And Tua last year was around him. The team was just getting decimated, whether it was the offensive line, whether it was his offensive weapons. And like, you're not going to get anything if he can't stay in the pocket. If he's just getting collapsed immediately, you're not even going to see anything from him. And I know a lot of Dolphin fans are going to hate it, but it's kind of the same thing that was being said about Tannehill in his first few years, which was if he can't even get a few seconds to even look downfield or go through any of his progressions, how are you going to get any evaluation out of him anyways? I just think we want to keep Tua upright, and tomorrow will really be the test. Like, I know it's preseason, but against a defensive line like that, even if some of them start, it's just going to be that'll be the huge test.
Let's talk about one of the units that on paper could be one of the strengths of the team, although you do have a couple of injury-prone guys, and that's wide receiver. I especially want your take on what you've seen so far from Jalen Waddle, because it seems like now early in preseason, Albert Wilson was dominating, and then it seems like in recent days, it's really been Jalen Waddle stepping up, and I love to see it. What have you seen out of him?
Well, apparently he has a limp, and I've been on the train of where's the limp, especially when I saw him on
I think
Sunday.
that's just how he walks, though. Like I don't even think it's not an injury limp. The guy, it's a
it's
pimp
like Waddle
limp.
has a waddle. It's just a little bit of what he is. Like watching him, and I think one of the main things that I've come away with is, okay, let's say he has an injury and that's why he's limping, right? If this is what he's like, minorly injured in practice, and this is what he's showing, the electricity, what he can bring to the offense. Let's say, okay, he is limping. Imagine at 100%, the dude's just going to light it up. And even just watching him, like it seems like, and Alfredo Arteaga, part of 3 yards per carry, he had mentioned it to me, and I think Michael and Juan as well. And it's kind of true, is like this offense is going to kind of be built around Jalen Waddle, and Albert Wilson's been impressing, like you mentioned. Like if these guys can continue to impress and hopefully don't get injured, that's obviously the biggest thing with the wide receiver room. I mean, it's a pretty talented core. Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle, Albert Wilson showing that he belongs. 19 still there. It's just interesting. That I agree with that very much.
And recently he was like hasn't he in joint practices at least been like the third string kick returner? And I say keep it that way.
So it's been like him, Malcolm Perry a little bit, and Jakeem Grant have also been kind of getting the returns. And again, like Jakeem Grant's an all-pro. Like if Jalen Waddle can bring that to the point where you can get rid of an all-pro returner, then that's fine. But from a returning standpoint, like Jakeem Grant should be the guy back there. He is an all-pro returner. He brings so much there. But Jalen Waddle, I mean, the dude looks like he should be a beast. And it looks like it was the right pick, especially considering what we've seen. And it is practice, it is camp, but we are kind of in that business where you live in the now type of thing. Jamar Chase hasn't really been looking that great, and so many people are banging the table for him. Devonta Smith's already injured, so I mean, I'm excited to watch him.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you this as well. Can the RPO help with Tua and the offense now that they have the weapons? And I mean, if you're asking me, I wholeheartedly agree. What about you, Kai?
I mean, I think just in general, adding it, we saw what he was able to do last year when he did have some of that arsenal of weapons. I think the Arizona game is kind of that biggest sample size where you saw that he even had some like little amount where even Preston Williams had to come out. Even then, after he had got jumped on by Christian Wilkins and he was out for the rest of the year, Mac Hollins was catching a game-winning touchdown essentially almost. Like now you have those weapons and you can do so much, and Chan Gailey isn't the offensive coordinator.
Old man Chan, like you call him.
Oh my God. Some of the stuff that has been said in the past 2 days as well from him and Fitzpatrick have been interesting, but like the RPO will help, having these weapons will help, and the speed will kill. Like having Albert Wilson, if he's going to look like the way he's looked and have it in game, having him, having Jalen Waddle, if 19 can kind of keep some of those drops out of the his arsenal, having that speed is just going to kill, and it's just going to be all about staying healthy.
Now, are you planning on betting on NFL preseason, Kai? Because we do have the hot tip that Dolphins plus the points that I think they're plus like 3 or 3.5. And I think I'm on board, Kai, because I found myself betting NBA Summer League in recent weeks. So why the hell not bet some preseason football?
I mean, I think I'm personally not a bettor. I think I've talked with you about this.
Yeah,
it's kind of widely known. Everyone thinks it's funny because I'm always like, look, man, anything that has to do with the government, I just don't want to deal with it. Like if the government,
but that don't betting on like offshore books is like the opposite of the government.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't done anything at all. I think I'm not a betting man. I will have, we'll have some stuff with another show that we do on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I'm not even sure if I can mention. That's why I'm kind of being coy, but
I'm not sure if you can either. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. We'll have some stuff that we're doing with them. So that'll be kind of my first time jumping into even putting any of my money on the line. Nice. And I'm also I'm in a no spend August right now, and 13 days straight, I've done pretty good. So I'm trying to keep it that way. So I will not be betting, but I think that people should. If you have the chance to make some money and you have guys, I mean, I was listening a little bit before I had come on that are going to be winning and they can give you some good bets, then I think you should take that opportunity.
So, okay, explain to me no spend August. Like how minimalist can you be? Are you like not driving anywhere because you don't want to put any gas in? Like how does this work?
So I saw earlier what you mentioned with Michael about how it was going to turn into some soccer stuff, because I just have to tie it in because it's kind of part of it.
Please.
And whatever, I saw it. I didn't even want to mention it, Manny.
Manny's trashing you.
Yeah, he is. Geez, with his team, whatever. But
is it his? I mean, he's got a team in every league. So how can I even take his opinion?
Exactly. It's just been the NFL Game Pass subscription had kind of gotten kicked in, and I thought that I had canceled it, and I was like, okay, I can't do this. I can't do this at all. And I actually got my refund, but at that moment I was like, all right, no spend August. I'm not really going to spend any money. I probably spent maybe like $30-$35 in the past like 13 days. So I've been like kind of doing pretty good and just kind of like getting myself back on track. I might spend a little bit more because I might go to Fritz and Franz here in like an hour, but I don't know, to watch my team play. So we shall see. I'm not really sure. Weather permits, then I will be there, but yeah.
Speaking of weather, like I think, and you and I live on the other sides of town. I'm a Dade County guy, but I think Fred is outside my house right now. Like it's really bad. Like it's like if ever people have seen me kind of looking towards the window a couple times, I can see
flashes coming out through your window.
We just had bad lightning and like it's wind. There's thunder happening right now. And then Manny, look at that, dude. It's Fred. Fred is here. He's not supposed to be here until tomorrow, right?
So you see, most likely weather will not permit, and I will be keeping myself home because I'm one that does not like driving in any sort of heavy rain. So I get too anxious. Miami drivers already are bad. Add in some heavy rain, and it's not a good combination.
I feel you, and I knew we would somehow tie it into soccer. And believe me,
I wasn't going to. I talked to my girlfriend about it. I was like, I'm not going to do it. She's like, yeah, keep Dolphins. I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. And then, man, he brought it up in the chat.
It's not even
it.
your fault. It's not even your fault. Oh, now he's got Stuttgart. Oh my God. So you guys want to make sure you follow Kai on Twitter at Samurai Radio. And hey, when's the next time we can see you or hear you on the network? When's the next time you're streaming or broadcasting?
Okay, so we'll have the Extra Yard, which happens every single Wednesday night. It starts between 8:30 or like 8:38 usually, because it just depends on when me, Michael, and Juan stop talking to each other before we actually hit live.
Mm-hmm.
But usually it starts before 8:40 p.m. Eastern time on the network every single Wednesday as well. Damn.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. So that's probably coming my way.
It is.
That was wow. We'll also have, depending on the weather, because again, I'm not driving, we might have pregame stuff tomorrow for the Dolphins stuff with myself, Alfredo, Matt Perdomo, Lewis, and Juan. We might have some pregame stuff tomorrow. We plan on meeting up, but again, I'm not going to drive if weather is bad, so that's on me. But yeah, every single Wednesday, and then hopefully some other stuff soon once some other things get wrapped up.
Awesome. Well, great stuff as always from Chien Chisholm. Thank you so much, and enjoy the Dolphins preseason tomorrow, Kai. And I would probably not recommend driving in this weather, so you could at least have another day of no spend August.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I think I'm just gonna keep myself home and hopefully Byron beat Cloud back today.
Oh man, I love, by the way, the last messages that just came in from Julian. Texans are winning the chip.
Oh gosh,
keep hitting the crack pipe. Keep hitting that crack pipe, sir.
Yeah, that's yeah, because they don't even know who their quarterback is, and that's a scary situation. So,
well, good stuff, man. Awesome stuff there from Kai. Thanks again to Lee Sterling for joining us as well, and Michael Christian. Good. It was like we've had so much fun today. Michael was on with us like 35 minutes ago. It feels like we've done a 3-hour show. We've squeezed in so much material on this day. Make sure you support our sponsors. BetUS.com. Sign up. Now is the time to sign up, my friends. Preseason games left and right. NFL regular season is going to be here before you know it. College football season is coming up. My Canes take on Bama September 4th. It's right around the corner. Sign up at BetUS.com. They are America's favorite sports book, and they are that for so many reasons, guys. So customer friendly, so easy to use. You get your own customer service rep assigned to you to help you if you need help any step of the way. You probably won't need help, but you'll have your rep just in case. And if you sign up with our code when you make your first deposit, 5RSN125, there's going to be a spot to type in a promo code if you have one. And you do have one. You have our code, 5RSN125. You get 125% sign up bonus. That's free play money. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. BetUS.com, and make sure you support the Quarter Deck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. 2-for-1 happy hour all day, every day. The freshest seafood on planet Earth, guys. So good. Make them your spot for every UFC pay-per-view fight. And support You Break Wheel Fix. They're our sponsor for Foodie Fridays here, and they're also our sponsors for Terrible Take Tuesday on Tuesdays. You Break Wheel Fix is awesome. They will repair and refinish bent or cracked wheels, and they will trick out your wheels in your team's colors. There's so many options. YouBreakWheelFix.com. And guys, stick around here on 5R Live, because coming up, we're going to have Moni Lebro hosting 5 on 5. So she is going to get you caught up, and she is awesome. She's going to get you caught up on everything going on in the South Florida sports scene, the national and international sports scene. So hang tight and watch your good friend Moni Lebro dominating 5R YouTube coming up. So for me, big thanks to Manny Chang. Sean Stanley was out today. He's going to be back with us on Monday, by the way. To all of our great guests and all of our great viewers, Julian, Alex, Abhishek, God, some of these names, I'm not even going to try to Tin Indian, 1968, Ephraim, Ray, all of you guys and girls. I saw Andy from Scotland and earlier. We love you all. We will talk to you again next time on Monday. Stay tuned for Moni Lebro coming up next right here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Ciao.
What's up? What's up? Welcome to the second ever 5-on-5 episode right here on 5 Reason Sports Network. I'm Moni Lebra, your 5-on-5 host. I hope you're having a wonderful week, and at least it's one more week out of the way until football starts. The Miami Dolphins are getting ready to face the Chicago Bears for the first preseason game for both teams after having 2 joint practices. Now, as we all know, Tua underwent major hip surgery in 2019, and of course, he's had a long time coming. It's been a while. He's had time to recover, and I want to read this tweet that one of the guys over at 5 Reason Sports tweeted not too long ago, and I found it really interesting. Tua had a horrific hip injury, and Burrow had a horrific knee injury. Both injuries took them out for a long time. Both injuries mess with the head of a player to fully trust yourself again. Both players deserve the time to try and get back 100% mentally. Now, I agree with Kai. While I think Tua's injury was significantly worse than Burrow's injury. But anyway, Coach Flores said earlier this week in a press conference that he does expect Tua to play on Saturday, which is great news for Tua. Hopefully, this is a good opportunity for him to get his head in the game, to get comfortable, and to hopefully raise some eyebrows. So we'll see how he does. We'll see how the Dolphins do on Saturday. Friendly reminder, the game will kick off at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And the U.S. men's soccer team made the top 10 FIFA World Rankings. Their performance this summer pushed them up the ranks, and they're now number 10 in the world, according to FIFA. Now, remember, these guys beat Mexico twice this summer. They beat them once for the Nations League final, and they beat them for the Gold Cup final. It's been 15 years since they were in the top 10. The last time they was in 2006. Now, I firmly believe that they can keep this streak going. I think that they can keep this rank going throughout the World Cup qualifiers. Hopefully, they keep this momentum up, which is technically no easy task when you're trying to qualify for the World Cup. Now, let me remind you, their first fixture will be against El Salvador in El Salvador, and their second fixture will be at home against Canada. The World Cup qualifiers are going to come around in early September. But the most important part is that I think that the U.S.-Mexico rivalry is definitely going to get intense over the summer because Mexico is ranked number 9. They're number 9 in the world according to FIFA, and these are the only 2 teams in the CONCACAF right now that are in the top 10. The next rankings for FIFA World Cup ranking will be published on September 16th. And now, Inter Miami is facing New York City over the weekend on Saturday. And I just want to throw some quick stats at you before this game. New York is ranked number 3 in the MLS Eastern Conference, while Miami is ranked number 12. Miami is the lowest scoring team at the moment with only 15 goals, and they have yet to beat New York City. Now, somewhat good news, New York has twice beaten Miami by only 1 goal. However, on the other hand, New York has won the last 5 games at home, straight wins. This is going to be a challenging game for Miami. Hopefully, they can carry over that spirit that they had against Nashville and bring it over to New York because they're really going to need it. And hopefully, they're able to keep up with their 4-game unbeaten streak with a win. Now, I'm going to close off with my favorite topic this week. I'm sorry, I am biased, and that is Messi going to Paris. As you see right there on the screen, he joined his teammates for the first time in training. And Messi told several media outlets these last couple of days his intention of winning a Champions League trophy with PSG, and that he certainly arrived at the right place to achieve this goal of winning a Champions League. Now, a quick reminder that the UEFA Champions League group stage draw will take place in August 26th in Istanbul, Turkey. But before we close off, I want to talk about something that I did not think I would see, at least in this lifetime. And that is Leo Messi being teammates with Sergio Ramos. I found a tweet online by Foodie Humor, which shows a video of Messi and Ramos getting all buddied up in the middle of training, and just look for yourself. It says right there, this cannot be real, and I could not agree more. As I said, I did not think I was gonna see this happen. I think all Real Madrid fans can agree with me, and all Barca fans can agree with me. I was talking to Manny earlier, and he was like, Ramos is probably saying, hey, Messi, sorry for going for your ankles before, but now here we are, Monty talks, and I think they're on the same page now. I'm so happy that you tuned in with 5 on 5 today. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Monilebro and Instagram. Make sure you also subscribe to the 5 Reasons Sports Network YouTube channel, and I'll catch you right here next week.